Check 1, 2.
No,
Camera's twisting. You're twisting. Oh. Can you set up her? Can you set her? Yeah. Yeah, the line was around the corner.
it's 2 per grade.
Oh, 2 per grade. About 5 minutes each.
Yes, I'm going to each grade.
We all rise, pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is to advise those present at this meeting of the Board of Education of the Board of Education of the Pinelands Regional School District in the County of Ocean that adequate notice of this meeting was provided in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act. The notice has been posted in the Board of Education office, junior high school, and high school buildings. The notice was also mailed to the Press of Atlantic City and filed with the municipal clerks of Bass River Township, Eagleswood Township, Little Lake Harbor Township, and the Borough of Tuckerton. Roll call has already been recorded. I'd like to take a moment to apologize for the lateness of this meeting, and I really am sorry. It's just business really needed to be taken care of. So that is the reason for the lateness, and most of you who come to our board meetings certainly know that I'm normally quite the stickler on getting them started on time. So I do apologize for that. I'm going to need an approval, a motion for the approval of agenda. However, there are several changes. Under number 7, presentations, we are lucky enough tonight to have our volleyball coaches, and I don't know if the whole volleyball team is here. Ms. Sofield is telling me that the whole team is here. So we would like to take a moment in tonight's meeting to recognize them and congratulate them for having a great season. Also, another change in the agenda, Mrs. Howe comes under Human Resources, am I correct?
Yes, under, can you hear me?
No.
Under B, Human Resources, we're going to add a number 17, and that will be a motion to reinstate Mr. Brennan effective November 16, 2017.
17, am I correct? Thank you. Does everybody have that? I don't think there's any additional changes at this time. So may I have a motion to approve the agenda, please?
So made.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? We have an agenda. I'm gonna turn it over to the superintendent, for our monthly reports.
Thank you, Madam President. Just very briefly, is my mic working? Okay, now it's working. Very briefly, this evening, members of the board, you have your, in your packets, the monthly student attendance, the monthly discipline report, security drill report, and the bus evacuation report. I know we have a great deal of presentations this evening, so that will be the end of my report for this evening. Thank you.
That's it for all of them?
That's it, because we just spoke to, we got the volleyball agencies.
All right, presentations. I'd like to start with Student of the Month. So if Mr. Shore, and I think we have several. You want to go first? Mr. Bannon is going to go first, and I think we have several to catch up on.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to show our Student of the Month videos again. We still have the September students of the month, so we're going to showcase them first before we do the October students as well. Just so you all know too, these videos we actually edited specifically for this meeting to try to reduce their length. For the parents, just so you know too, there will be longer videos that we'll be posting through our YouTube page and online. So you do see the longer interviews that were done with your children. But we obviously we're trying to be cognizant of the time here as well and respective of that, so we did cut them down as much as we could.
For the month of September. We're glad to join you again to present our students of the month throughout this year. And our first student of the month is our sophomore student. Hello and welcome to Pineland Student Spotlight for the month of September. We're glad to join you again to present our students of the month throughout this year. And our first student of the month is our sophomore student, Ryan Ski. Ryan, congratulations on winning this honor this month. Certainly very much deserved. I know, obviously you've only been to school for a short period of time, but certainly your impact is already seen. So Ryan, what classes do you enjoy taking this year?
Classes I enjoy taking are Mr. Rowe's class, and that is my English class, and Mr. Asher's class, and that is history as well.
Why do those two classes stand out to you so much?
Because I like the subjects, and the teachers strive me to do my best.
Just want to say congratulations to Ryan for being named Student of the Month. More than deserved. Ryan's a leader in the classroom, does a great job. He really, helps out the discussions. He's a great kid walking around, as polite and courteous as you're going to find. As a leader on the basketball court, and of course, a leader on the tennis court as well. So again, congratulations, Ryan. Wish we could have more like you here.
I'm here now with Aaron Pomponio.
Ryan, would you come on up?
won our Sophomore Students of the Month. Congratulations, Erin, on this award.
Thank you.
So, Erin, what classes do you enjoy taking at Pinelands this year?
I enjoy taking math and science, and it comes natural for me, so I find it easy, and I like it, and I enjoy it.
That's excellent. Is that something you want to pursue in your future as well?
Yes, I was interested in the engineering field, and it has to do with math and science, so.
Are there any teachers you'd like to thank for, that have helped you along the way as well?
Yeah, I would like to thank Mrs. Molesky. She's always been there for me since I had her in 7th grade, and in 9th and 8th grade, she's always been there too.
Hi, my name is Michelle Molesky, and I was asked to talk about Erin Pomponio. And I absolutely love Miss Erin Pomponio. She's an awesome student. And because I had her in 7th grade English class, I thought it would be fun to kind of do a brown bag book review about Erin and what she symbolizes to me as a student. First, she is a great student, so I have a little pencil here that signifies her studentness of Then I have soccer ball, because not only is she really academically inclined, but she's also very good on the field and with all her athletics, but I know soccer is one of her fortes. Lastly, I have a smiley face, because anytime you see Erin, she's constantly smiling. She's joyful, she's happy, and because of that, the world is a better place having Erin. So congratulations, Erin. I'm so happy for you. Enjoy it, and best of luck for the rest of the year.
I'm here now with Dylan and Brenda. Dylan is one of our Junior Students of the Month. Dylan, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yep.
Dylan, what class did you enjoy taking the most at Pinelands?
The class I enjoyed taking the most would have to be math or English. One of the two that are my favorite. It's just English I like because I do a lot of writing in there, and then math is what's actually helping my education of working on motors now. So.
You said you're working on motors, so that's something you're doing at the vocational school?
Yes.
And what program are you in there?
I'm in marine trade.
Now, how does that relate, you said, to math for you?
There's a lot of variables that go into it. Mostly with the engines, you have to think outside the box more than inside. So it takes a lot of work and a lot of math to do. And it might not be writing it down on a paper math, but it is math in general.
That's excellent. I'm glad you're making those connections to your subjects, and it certainly will help you as you move on in life. Are there any teachers that really made a positive impact on you while you're here?
There would have to be Miss Maxwell, because she's the one who pushed me the most, and she's the one who got me into working really hard on math in general, because that was a class I almost failed last year. But I didn't fail. I got all A's in that class due to her.
Congratulations, Dylan, on Student of the Month. I'm so proud of you. Your perseverance and dedication to doing well in class has really shown you can do it, and I'm so proud of you. Best of luck next year, and I know you're going to do great things. Congratulations.
I'm here now with Kathy.
Unfortunately, I do not believe Dylan could be here tonight, so we'll give him his award tomorrow.
Catherine Coverdale. Catherine is one of our Junior Students of the Month. Congratulations, Catherine. Catherine, what class do you enjoy taking at Pinelands?
I enjoy AP US 2 and pre-calculus.
And what about those two classes stand out to you?
They are challenging, and I like, doing the best I can and trying to get as much learning done as possible.
Excellent. Are there any teachers that have really stood out to you and made a positive impact on you?
Mrs. Perner, because she believes in all her students, and she pushes us to do the best we can.
Catherine, congratulations on being nominated Student of the Month for September. It is well deserved. You're an amazing young woman who has great potential. Your work ethic is incredible, and your content knowledge is also incredible. Also, what I think is especially great is the fact that you and I share both the first and middle names. Congratulations again.
Here now with Vincent Grasso. Vincent is one of our Senior Students of the Month. Congratulations, Vincent.
Thanks.
Vincent, what class have you enjoyed taking during your time at Pinelands?
Honestly, phys ed class. It's because I'm very athletic and I love moving around all the time. So it's pretty much my favorite class every time I have
Now, during the time you've been here, have there been any teachers that have really made that impact on you to kind of push you to also help people in the future?
I would say Irvin for sure, because she pushes me to go like that extra step, and plus she like introduces me to do more like body movement exercises, and she shows me a lot of them as well.
All right, Vinny Grasso, a lot of things I can say about him. He is an exemplary student, phys ed student, student of the month in phys ed. Words to describe him: self-disciplined, respected, enthusiastic, driven. A lot of students look up to him as a role model. I would not put it past him to make a fitness challenge and expect everybody to do it. First little memory I have of Vinny. Vin, you want to do a push-up challenge? Sure, Miss Irvin. I do my push-ups. Vinny gets up on a pull-up bar upside down and does his push-ups. Love the kid. Congratulations, Vinny. Again, his favorite quote: "If I was fed to the wolves, I'd be the one that came out on top." Congratulations, best of luck. Well deserved.
Excuse me.
Thanks.
I'm here now with Rachel Lundahl. Rachel is one of our seniors of the month. Congratulations, Rachel, on this honor.
Thank you.
So, Rachel, what classes have you really enjoyed taking during your time at Pinelands?
Mr. Rocheski's visual tech.
And why did that class stand out so much to you?
I really like taking pictures.
Is there certain types of subject matter you like taking with that class?
No.
Were there other teachers that made an impact on you during your time here as well?
Miss McGuire, big time, Miss Schrader.
Why did those two teachers stand out so much?
Miss McGuire really helped me get into Special Olympics to help the kids, and Ryla I got accepted to, but I couldn't make it to this summer, so it was really big.
Hi Rachel, congratulations on being named Student of the Month. To say that you deserve this honor is truly an understatement. It's been a pleasure getting to know you over the past 2.5 years as a member of the Interact Club. You have proven to be one of our most dedicated and selfless members. You have a truly caring heart and a genuine spirit, and I'm proud to know you. Congratulations.
I don't think Rachel will be here tonight, but we'll showcase our October students as well.
Welcome to our Pineland Student Spotlight for the month of October. I'm here with Andrew Bartlett. Andrew is one of our sophomore students of the month. Congratulations, Andrew. Thank you. Andrew, what classes did you enjoy taking so far this year?
I'm really enjoying math, just like the class a lot. The teacher is really cool. I have Miss Maxwell, so I like math a lot. It's probably one of my favorite subjects.
Why does that subject stand out so much to you?
I don't know. It's just something that I'm good at and I enjoy taking. So.
Okay, and you really enjoyed, you're saying, the teaching of Mrs. Maxwell as well? Yeah. Excellent. Are there any other teachers that have really made a positive impact on you so far?
Mr. Strauss, I've had him for the past 3 years for my chorus class, and he's just a really stand-up guy and cool guy. He's always there for you if you need anything. So.
Congratulations, Andrew. I chose you for Student of the Month because you're always consistent and you're always dependable. I can always rely on you to be a leader in your section, to always be an example for the other students of what to do. And you always do it with a smile and never complain about anything that I'm asking you to do. You're always trying to figure out what is the plan and how are you going to be a better student because of what I planned. Congratulations.
I'm here now with Dana Scapati. Dana is one of our
Unfortunately, I do not believe Andrew could join us tonight, so I'll see him tomorrow at work.
this year?
Macroeconomics. I really like Mr. Bradley as a teacher.
How Mr. Bradley's teaching stands out to you?
Well, I like how I like him as a person, and he like makes it interesting to learn.
Excellent. Are there any other teachers that have made a positive impact on you so far?
Mr. Strauss. He like always brightens up my day, and he's always such a positive person.
Hi Dan, congratulations on being Student of the Month. I'm so happy that you got it because you really personify everything it's supposed to be about. Talented, but dedicated all the time, socially graceful, you know, be polite to people and work your way through people. Always dedicated, always asking for the extra question and reaching in deeply about that. I wish I could clone you. But congratulations on the honor. You richly deserve it, and I wish you the best for the rest of the school year.
All right, I'm here now. With Luke Mathis. Luke is one of our junior students of the month. Luke, congratulations on winning this award.
Thank you.
So Luke, what class have you really enjoyed taking so far at Conley?
My AP history and English classes have really put forth a challenge for me in the classroom. I enjoy them, our in-depth conversations about everything to do with English and history. But also my physics and math class bring a lot. They present new challenges. I came into this year knowing nothing about physics, and I love Dr. Leto's classes. It's really interesting to learn about this.
That's certainly a well-rounded perspective to go over, literally, you know, from the more the humanities angle to the math and science. So it's great that you're able to have the brain that captures both of them. So, now, are there any of the teachers, you mentioned Dr. Leto, or anybody else that's really made a positive impact on you as well?
Mr. Scott DiCarlo being not only my AP English teacher, but also my soccer coach has made a huge impact.
Just want to congratulate Luke Mathis on getting Student of the Month for the month of October. I've known Luke as an athlete now for 3 years. Excellent athlete for us in the Pineland soccer program. Now I have the good fortune of actually being able to teach him as well in AP Language and Composition, 11th grade English, and he's a stand-up, excellent student in my class as well. It does not surprise me one bit that he is Student of the Month for October. Congrats, Luke.
I'm here. Kaylin Conway. Kaylin is one of our junior students of the month. Kaylin, congratulations on this award.
Thank you.
So Kaylin, what class are you really enjoying this year in Pineland?
My favorite classes are English and science. Science has been my favorite class for a while, and I want to do something in the science field when I'm older. And English, I have a passion for English, and I love writing, and Mr. Scott does a great job at helping me with that.
Just want to congratulate Kaylin Conway on achieving the Student of the Month for the month of October. Kaylin is a very astute, respectful, and diligent student, and I'm proud of her accomplishment for the Student of the Month. It's an honor, so congrats, Kaylin. Good job.
I'm here now with Zach. Zach, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Zach, what classes are you enjoying taking so far this year?
My favorite class I think this year would probably be sociology. I mean, it wasn't my first pick, but Mr. Becker teaches it really well. I'll give him props. And it's pretty cool to learn like how humans interact with one another in society, and it kind of makes you like take a another look on like life, and instead of adding fuel to the fire on certain situations, but maybe help you think outside the box, maybe cool it down. So it's a pretty cool class. I like it for that reason.
Excellent. Now you mentioned that you really like how Mr. Becker teaches it. Is there something in particular that he does in his teaching that really stands out to you?
He tries to keep everyone involved, and he cracks jokes sometimes. So it's pretty funny. Good. So it keeps everyone interested, on their toes.
So Zach, congratulations. Just want to let you know that you definitely deserve Student of the Month this month. I'm glad that I have you a student in sociology and American legal systems. I want you to continue to keep up the hard work out there on the football field. And your hard work and dedication to that sport also translates to how well you do in the classroom. So once again, congratulations, and I look forward to the rest of your senior year.
I'm here. So now with Jillian Williams. Jillian is one of our senior students of the month. Jillian, congratulations.
Thank you.
Jillian, what class have you enjoyed taking at Pinelands?
I really enjoyed my legal systems class, which is a new course here at Pinelands, and I'm really enjoying that class. Mr. Becker makes it fun, as well as like teaching us things that we'll need like in our lifetime. So.
Excellent. Beyond that class, have there been other teachers that have made a positive impact on you?
Scott DiCarlo made a really big impact on me academically and helping me through life situations and helping me with my writing, so I feel like he made a big impact on me, as well as Coach Bennett and Coach Sofield. I feel like they've really influenced me as a person over the past 4 years. So.
Since you just mentioned your coaches, I know obviously you're part of our volleyball team. Are there any other sports and activities you're involved in here as well?
I'm involved in Wildcats in Action as well as the volleyball team. So.
Congratulations on your Student of the Month award, Jill. It's well deserved. I've had the pleasure of teaching you in class and coaching you on the volleyball court, and you are a true leader who is always on top of her game, both academically and athletically. You're such a hard worker and a good student. It's no surprise to me that you've been given this honor. Way to go, silly Jilly.
So that's a good segue into the next thing. I'd actually like to call Mr. Sunderman, who's going to help us recognize the amazing accomplishments of the girls' volleyball team.
Actually, this has been a really good fall for us athletically, and it was obviously led by our volleyball team. Two of the players on our volleyball team are students of the month tonight, so that's a great honor. Our volleyball team not only won the B South Championship, but also won the Shore Conference Championship, the overall Shore Conference Championship. It's the second time in the history of the school that one of our teams accomplished this great feat. The first time was in 1984 with our field hockey team, so it's a really great honor. Our volleyball team is the best team in the Shore, and actually, led by Coach Bennett, number one. And Coach Sofield, who's going to come up and introduce the team and let you know more about their phenomenal season. Coach Sofield.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education. It is an honor and a privilege to stand before you this evening to recognize this group of outstanding young ladies who are the 2017 Pinelands Varsity Volleyball Team. At the start of the season, as a team, we set a few goals. Ones that some might only dream of. Win B South Divisional title, earn a spot in the Final Four of the Shore Conference Tournament, which is played at Georgian Court University, and qualify for round 3 of the New Jersey Group 2 Volleyball Tournament. As in most journeys, you may hit some speed bumps along the way. However, as John C. Maxwell once said, one of our major keys to success is to keep moving forward on the journey, making the best of the detours and interruption, turning adversity into advantage. Well, despite having to play the second part of our season in a few big games not on our home court, we crushed those goals. We beat Donovan Catholic, followed by Lacey, on the junior high court to claim part of the B South Divisional title. Moving forward onto the Shore Conference Tournament, we played 2 tough games, now later than usual in the evening due to the split schedule, and defeated Brick Township and Red Bank Catholic to accomplish our second goal of making it to the Final Four at Georgian Court University. It was there that we were set to face Southern Regional. Once again, this team prevailed, beating Southern, winning 2-1, allowing these Lady Wildcats to move on to the championship game, where they were once again faced with Donovan Catholic. After splitting 2 games in the championship, we had nothing to lose. These girls standing before you tonight left it all on the court. Their determination, their hard work, and a dig-or-die attitude, and conquered something they never imagined, the 2017 Volleyball Short Conference Tournament Championship. As Mr. Sunderman said, this was only the second time in Pinelands Regional High School history has a team won this prestigious tournament. These girls are now the best of the best, and let me remind you that our program is only in its 4th year. Our final goal was to reach the 3rd round of the state tournament, and we did just that before falling to Riverdale, who eventually went on to win the New Jersey group title. In addition to reaching our team goals, we just found out today that junior Kayla Thornton, senior Jessie Rising, and senior Carly Janish won first team All-Short Conference honors. In addition to those honors, Coach Kathy Bennett won Short Conference B-South Coach of the Year, as well as Short Conference Coach of the Year. So without further ado, the 2017 Short Conference champions. Sophomore Sharon Benson, Brittany Houseworth, Adriana Dancizin, Emma Capriglione. Juniors Victoria Pical, JC DeMaria, Kayla Thornton, Tiffany Papa, Alexa Houston, Sierra Seals, and Katie Coverdale. And seniors, Joni Vasakonis, Carly Janish, Jillian Williams, and Jessie Rising. The 2017 Thank you.
Coaches, girls, great job. You did us proud.
Mrs. Ernst, how are you this evening?
I'm well. How about you?
I could not be better. Thank you very much. It is an honor and a privilege on behalf of Dr. Clark and Mr. Denon and the wonderful staff here at the junior high school to be up here to present to you the Students of the Month for the months of September and October. So without any further ado, Dr. Clark, if you would please. Go big or go!
Hello everyone, I'm Eric Shore, Principal of Pinelands Regional Junior High School. Welcome to September's edition of Student Spotlight for Students of the Month. I'm sitting here with 7th grade Student of the Month, Aaron DeFrancia. Aaron, how are you? Good. Good. Aaron, why don't you tell everyone who's watching a little bit about yourself?
I'm in 7th grade. I enjoy photography, science, and art. And I like nature.
So, when we spoke not too long ago, how did it feel when you learned that you were Student of the Month?
I was excited and proud.
What has been, in the short amount of time you've been here, what's been your favorite part about Pinelands itself or the junior high school?
I really like the teacher-student communication. That's a big part of the school.
As we close out our interview here, do you want to take the opportunity to acknowledge anyone, thank anyone that has kind of helped or supported you along the way, or someone here at the junior high school?
Yeah. I'd like to thank my parents. They helped me get where I am now, and also my Umi. She helped inspire me, and she really helped me figure out who I am today.
Well, that's fantastic, and thank you for taking time out of your schedule to do this interview, and congratulations once again, Aaron DeFrancia, 7th grade Student of the Month.
Aaron DeFrancia, come on up, please.
everyone. It is my pleasure to introduce to you 7th grade student of the month for September, Delaney Lowe. Hello, Delaney.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Why don't you take a quick second to tell a little bit about yourself?
I'm in 7th grade. I have ran cross country this past month. I like to play volleyball, and I'm a Girl Scout.
Wow, so you got a pretty busy activity schedule.
Yep.
Wow, good for you. So when we got to speak last week, and I called you down to the office, and I told you that you were student of the month, how did that make you feel?
Well, first I was so nervous because I was like, oh God, what did I do wrong? Calling on to the principal's office. But then it was a good thing. I was really excited.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad that you were excited to be student of the month. So in your short time here at Pinelands, has there been something that you enjoy, whether it's the junior high school or maybe about Pinelands itself?
Well, I love meeting new people, and I really like my locker.
Good. Lockers are important. So being student of the month is never an easy thing to do. So is there anyone, family member or maybe a teacher that you want to take a quick second to thank?
My mom, my dad, and my grandma.
Well, that's good. I'm sure they're just as proud of you as we are. So Delaney, once again, many congratulations on being student of the month. Keep up the great work, and congratulations. You're very welcome. Hello, everyone. I am with our 8th grade student of the month for September, Brianna Scapati. Brianna, hope everything is well. Why don't you take a quick second and let everyone out there watching get to know you a little bit better?
Well, I am currently an active member in 3 different clubs: Youth Thrive, Art Club, and SAD. I play softball in the spring, and when I'm not in school, I have a long list of hobbies I get to have fun with.
So your calendar seems like it's pretty busy all the time. So we got this talk a little while ago, and I called you down to the office and informed you that you were nominated and won Student of the Month. So how did that make you feel?
It was very exciting, but I got even more excited when I realized that I can put it on my application for college.
Yep, absolutely. It's definitely something that you would want to put on there and a good resume builder. So you're now in 8th grade. What have been some of your favorite experiences in the junior high school or Pineland itself?
I love the support system here because you can go to teachers, any faculty members, anyone, and you can just sit down and have a talk, and they will listen and help you figure out whatever's going on.
Well, I'm glad that you feel comfortable that you have those supports in place. So we're going to finish up our review. It's always a pleasure talking with you. Being Student of the Month is never an easy accomplishment. It always means that you have a pretty good support system behind you. So I don't know if you want to take the opportunity to maybe throw a shout out, thank anyone, or anyone that's been a positive influence while you've been here at the junior high.
I would love to thank my mother, father, my sisters, and my 6th grade teacher, Mr. Yu.
Well, Brianna, it is always a pleasure talking to you. You are a super young lady, and I wish you nothing but the best and continued success. And congratulations once again on winning Student of the Month.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Brianna wasn't too pleased with me because I was like the 3rd take we did because I somehow lost the video. So, but you did a fantastic. Thank you. See. So, congratulations, Brianna. Job well done.
Hello, everyone. It is my pleasure to introduce to you one of our 8th grade students of the month, Mr. Joel Marr. Joel, how are you?
Good.
Good. Glad to hear that. So, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
I like riding quads, and when I was little, I used to ride a tiny quad, but it broke, so now I can't ride that anymore.
When we had our conversation today, how did it feel when you learned you were Student of the Month?
I was happy, and I was surprised too, because I've never gotten Student of the Month before.
What has been your favorite part about Pinelands itself or the junior high school?
My favorite part about Pinelands was the kind of like the freedom that you get when you're going from class to class, and there's like no teachers that are like in the line with you like it was in elementary school.
Gotcha. As we close out our interview, is there anyone that you want to take the opportunity to thank, or has been a good positive influence on you?
I want to thank my 7th grade social studies teacher, Mr. Alaka, because he was my favorite teacher and he was really nice.
Thank you for taking the opportunity to sit down with us, and congratulations once again on being Student of the Month. Nice job, buddy. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Long. Hello, everyone. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce to you the one and the only Quinn Moore, who is our 9th grade Student of the Month for September. So, Quinn, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I could not be better. Quinn, why don't you just take a quick second and let everyone know a little bit about yourself so they can get to know you a little bit better.
Okay. My name is Quinn Moore. I'm a 9th grade student here at Pinelands. I enjoy playing with my dog. Playing field hockey, and I'm interested in trying out for lacrosse this year, and I like spending time here.
Good. We got to talk. It's actually probably been a little bit since we talked in September. I called you down. I let you know that you were Student of the Month. So, like, how did that make you feel?
It made me feel pretty good. I was really happy walking out of the building with a big smile.
Yeah, you did have a smile from ear to ear that day. So, well, it's probably long overdue. So I'm glad that you were excited that you were Student of the Month.
Thank you for anybody who nominated me.
You're now in 9th grade, so you're on your 3rd year here in Pinelands. So what has been maybe something that you've enjoyed about the junior high school or Pinelands in general?
I enjoy my sports, field hockey. I've been a part now for 3 years, and we've definitely brought in a couple titles when I was there.
Yeah, so that's a good point. So you've actually been part of a championship team your 7th grade year, your 8th grade year, and now as a freshman.
Yes.
It's a good streak to have.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to take a second to recognize anyone that you want to thank, anyone that you want to recognize?
I'd like to thank everybody. I believe it takes a village to raise a child, and a little bit from everybody really helps make a person who they are.
Thanks. Hey, that's a good answer. To watch you grow and to mature to a wonderful young lady. I hope you know that I think the world of you, and I am extremely happy for you. So congratulations and continued success on being Student of the Month.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. What can I say? Quinn Moore. Hello everyone, I am here with 9th grade Student of the Month for September, Jack Roth. Jack, how are you? Good. Good, that's good to hear. So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself, Jack?
I'm on the cross-country team.
Okay. Where else? Do you work somewhere? Where do you work?
I work at a school store.
Yep, you work at the school store. When you and Mr. Short talked last week, and you learned that you were Student of the Month, how did that make you feel?
Good.
Yeah, you felt good about yourself,
Yes.
right? Well, you should feel good about yourself. You always work hard, and we're proud of you.
Yeah.
Okay, good job. So you're 9th grade now, so what has been one of your favorite things about the junior high school?
Just have fun, walk around.
Yep, you're always having fun.
Yes.
You always got a big smile on
Yes.
your face. That's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's Jack Roth, September Student of the Month. Congratulations, buddy. Keep up the great job.
There you go, buddy. Congratulations. One of the hardest workers around, man. Keep up the good job, buddy. You're welcome, man.
my pleasure to introduce to you our 7th grade student of the month for October, Eva Morosas. Eva, how are you?
Good.
That's good to hear. So Eva, why don't you take an opportunity right now to just tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
I'm Eva Versus in 7th grade. I'm 12 years old and I have 5 siblings.
We got to speak a few weeks ago, and I called you down to my office and I let you know that you were student of the month. So when you got that news, how did that make you feel?
I was honestly shocked because out of me in like the whole 7th grade, like I was shocked.
So we're now in November. It's been a few months since you've been here. So has there been something that you particularly enjoy about the junior high school or about Pinelands itself?
Yes, I like the school store and I like the lunches here and I also love the teachers.
Is there anyone that you want to take the opportunity to thank or maybe to recognize right now?
My teachers and my friends.
Well, as I said before, I know your teachers are extremely proud of you, just as we are. Continued success and congratulations on becoming Student of the Month.
Thank you.
Super job.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eva Morosas. Okay.
Hello, everyone. It is my pleasure to...
Hold on for this one. This one is good. There's not too many people that out-talk me in an interview. Rocky managed to do it.
That's my son. So.
He's fantastic.
Introduce to you 7th grade Student of the Month for October, Rocky Guido. Rocky, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
You are very welcome. Rocky, why don't you take a quick second and tell everyone that's watching a little bit about yourself?
Well, I really find art fascinating, about its culture, about where it comes from, and about all the great minds who create it, and how it drives me and others to be more creative and expressive with our feelings, showing the world about how we truly think about it and what we think about others.
Now, Rocky, you and I got the opportunity to speak last week, and I called you down to inform you that you were Student of the Month. So when you got that news, how did that make you feel?
It made me feel great knowing that I was a positive influence to others and that others were a positive influence to me. To tell you the truth, it really feels great just being here to talk with you about Student of the Month. That tells me that I'm appreciated for what I do, and it tells others that they are appreciated for what they do.
Good. So in the short time you've been here in the junior high school, has there been something that you really like about the junior high school, or maybe about Pinelands in general?
Well, what I love about the junior high school is all the new people I get to meet, all the great food, and all the magnificent teachers who strive to teach us all they can and improve our knowledge so that way they can expand our radius of learning and teach us about the great history of the world. And I love Pinelands because it's such a friendly and family place, and it's really hard to describe how I truly feel about it. Though I do have one word that comes to mind: great, amazing, fantastic. All the rich culture, all the magnificent people, all the great stores and shops. It's wonderful, I tell you.
Well, I'm glad that you've had a very positive experience here. It's always good to hear that. So
thank you so much.
You're welcome. We're glad to hear that. So being Student of the Month is never an easy thing to do. You always have to have a very strong support system. So is there anyone that you want to take a quick second to thank or to recognize?
Oh yes, I would. Thank you so much for asking. I would like to thank my grandparents for always telling me proper table manners and always telling me how to properly introduce myself to new people. And I would like to thank my teachers for always telling me to raise my hand in class or to ask a question, or if you have any curious answers, you can ask them. And I love how they represent not to start a fight with somebody, even if you really want to, or if they did it first. I just love how they're such a positive influence on themselves and all the students and teachers around them. And I just have to thank the most my parents for being the most positive influence that I could ever have, teaching me about what's wrong and what's right.
It has been an absolute pleasure to meet and to talk with you. You're a super positive young man. Continued success, and congratulations on being Student of the Month.
Thank you.
It is with great pleasure I introduce to you Nadia Stories, our 8th grade student of the month for October. Nadia, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you very much. Nadia, why don't you take a quick second and tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
I was born in the Philippines, and I came here when I was about 6 years old with my mom and 2 older sisters and an older brother.
If my memory serves me correctly, you were actually student of the month last year as well.
Yeah.
So you're now in 8th grade, you're student of the month again, so how does that feel to be a 2-time student of the month?
It feels great. My mom and dad are really proud of me for getting it again this year.
Well, they have a lot to be proud of because you are a super young lady, and everyone that we speak to you out of things to say. So 8th grader, what has been some of your favorite things about the junior high school or about Pinelands itself?
I don't know, I like everything about Pinelands. The teachers are really nice, kids are nice, and the...
Coaches?
Yeah, the sports, it's always fun to do sports with the other kids because everyone does their best and people are wonderful players.
Good, awesome. So, is there anyone that you want to take the opportunity right now to give a shout out to or to thank or has been a positive influence on you?
I want to thank my parents because they always taught me to do my best and always be nice and helpful to anyone that needs it.
Once again, congratulations on being a 2-time student of the month, continued success, and congratulations.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
PRHS Nadia Stories, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello everyone, I am here with 8th grade student of the month for October, Braxton Ballou. Braxton, how are you?
I'm good.
That's good. Why don't you take a quick second to tell all the fine people watching a little bit about yourself?
I have 2 sisters. One of them's a high schooler and one of them's a 4th grader. I play football for the 7-8 team here, and I like being a student of Pinelands.
So when you and I spoke last week, and I informed you that you were a student of the month, how did that make you feel?
I was very excited because last year I was failing classes, and this year I'm passing every class, and I'm student of the month.
Well, that's good to hear that you're working hard and your hard work pays off. So good stuff. So you are now an 8th grader. You're starting your 2nd year here in the junior high school. So what's been some of your favorite things about the junior high school, or maybe even perhaps Pinelands in general?
I like how they have sports for us to play for a team. I like walking in the hallways by myself without anything. And I like having classes where we switch, and nice.
So is there anyone you want to take the opportunity to right now to give a quick shout out to?
My English and reading teacher, Ms. Calderon, for nominating me.
Sounds good. Well, Braxton, continued success. We are very proud of you. Congratulations on Student of the Month. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Taryn Melendez, our 9th grade student of the month for October. So Taryn, how are you?
I'm doing great.
That is so good to hear. So Taryn, why don't you take a quick second and let everyone out there watching get to know you a little bit better. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first off, this is my first year of high school. I'm going to the school. I am glad I'm going to, this is my first year of high school. I'm really excited to explore the new, kind of new topics we're getting to learn about in class and stuff like that. I'm very into culture, which is one of the things I like to do. I like to study cultures, anything that, comes to mind, architecture, different types of gems, anything that, that takes my interest.
So we got to talk a little while ago. I called you down to my office and I let you know that you were nominated and won Student of the Month. So how did that make you feel?
That made me feel really, really happy that I worked so hard to try to be better each year. Because the 2 years, I might grades weren't as good, but really this year I want to try to better myself morally and academically.
So is there anyone you want to take the opportunity right now that's been maybe a positive influence or that you might want to thank?
Mostly one, I would like to thank my father and, you know, my stepmother, who I love as a mother to death still.
Yeah.
I also really would like to say thanks to my friends who have really, you know, supported me in a way, made me feel really good about myself, even if they drive me a little crazy from time to time. I really like to thank them.
Well, Taryn, you know, it's been an absolute pleasure to have the opportunity to talk to you, to see you grow into the wonderful 9th grade that you are. I'm very happy that you're Student of the Month. Keep sending those positive vibes, and congratulations once again on being Student of the Month.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. It is a great pleasure that I introduce to you our 9th grade Student of the Month for October, Andrew Staub. Andrew, hope everything is well. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Well, you know, I'm a pretty interesting person if I say so myself. My brother just recently came here to Pinelands. He's in 7th grade. Yeah, I've been playing football since I was 8 years old in 2nd grade. And I joined the wrestling team last year, and I really liked it. It was really cool. And I'm doing it again this year.
Oh, perfect. Excellent.
And, you know, some of my hobbies that I like doing, listening to music and playing guitar and stuff like that. Love it. It's something I do all the time.
Now, we got to talk, actually kind of recently, so you were Student of the Month last year. So again, you were Student of the Month this year. So how did it feel any different from this year to last year?
It's very similar. You know, it feels really good to be nominated for something like this because not many people are able to say, hey, I was able to do this, you know.
Now, did you do it 7th grade year too?
I believe so.
So 3 times, so 7th grade, 8th grade, and 9th grade?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know it's been every year, but even so, it's feels really good that, you know, out of only like 10 people, 10 guys per grade are pulled every year. So it's
it's also you know, a satisfying feeling to have something to show it when you know you're working hard every day coming in. So that's good.
Yeah.
So you're now 9th grade. So this is now your 3rd year at the junior high school. What has been something that you like particularly about the junior high school? Maybe some of your experiences, or maybe just in Pinelands in general.
It's teachers and staff and stuff like that are great because, you know, they always push you to do your best, and I've had some great teachers here and some great coaches.
So you know, you have an opportunity. Is there anyone that's been an influence on you? You want to take the time to thank? Now's the time to do that.
I want to especially thank my parents. You know, they've always been there behind me, and they always push me to do my best. My brother helps me at times, and it feels really good. And a recent positive influence, and that's my football coaches, Coach Loomis and Coach Barry. They're my freshman football coaches, and, you know, no matter what I do in the field or anything like that, they always address me in a positive way, and they help me fix mistakes, and and congratulating me when I do a good job, and they always make me feel like I matter and I'm an important part of the team, which is awesome.
So once again, congratulations on being Student of the Month again.
Thank you.
Nice job, Andy.
Just 2 quick things, and I believe it's for the high school as well. Food services, we actually affixed on the back of the one of the plaques a certificate where you can receive a free item in the cafeteria, so you can use that at your leisure. Also, too, I would like to thank the junior high school staff who, again, in addition to the picture plaques, also provided a little saying about the students. So I appreciate them taking the time to do it, and thank you guys for your patience. Thank you.
gonna give a minute or two. I know some of the parents would like to leave with their children. Do we have student council representatives here? Mr. Ruoff.
Good evening. I'll keep this brief. First off, the students have responded well to the schedule change.
How loud can you talk?
Put on the weather, I can try to shout it. Student body has done a great job adjusting to the new schedule. Basically, I just want to take this opportunity to talk about the homecoming we had. Student council alongside the senior class ran a successful homecoming. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank a bunch of people who helped make it possible. The custodial staff who was there helping us decorate to make the junior high school gymnasium special. To the food service staff who provided the food, parents who donated decorations, and parents who donated their time to come on a Saturday to help us decorate, to the teachers who helped chaperone, the administration who's been very supportive and did everything they could to make it special considering the circumstances for the kids, to Anthony Sacamanga and the Wicked Ride Car Club for providing the cars during the halftime show for the Queen's Court, the students who were so well behaved and had a great time, got positive feedback. The whole night was special, the whole weekend was great. And that's why I wanted to, thank everyone who made that night possible. And we're looking forward to continue providing for the student body and making the rest of the school year special. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brewer. Do we have Mr. DeForge here for PTSO? No. All right, I'm going to ask Ms. Hannadel, who is our delegate, to give us a brief update.
It will be brief.
On now?
Yes. So the Ocean County meeting in Lakewood, it was really great because they had two attorneys who are trying to save, they're actually attorneys who are special ed attorneys who work for parents. They're also now presenting to school boards, and they want to help school boards basically provide more and better services for their districts. So that so they offer things like a private audit of our special ed department. They have basically they have all kinds of professional development opportunities in Wilson, Portland, and Gillingham, and so they're basically trying to give back to the school boards as well, not just so there are less out of district placements. And it seems really interesting. So I have a packet if anybody wants it. I gave you the board responsibilities 12-month agenda planning paperwork, which is a nice new thing. But the main thing is I have to go to Trenton on Saturday because we have the delegates meeting, which the delegates for New Jersey school boards, the delegate assembly, they create the policy for New Jersey school boards. Yeah. So we have to vote. And so I have to vote on two things. So I'll read them very quickly. They're pretty basic, and I'm sure you'll agree with them, but I just want to read them to you briefly and let you guys tell me that I can vote yes on them. So one is that this is something the school boards get to do, and they're not too busy. They made two resolutions, one for Middletown Township Board of Education in Monmouth has a resolution that they want us to support, basically notifying, it's so that, let me find the fastest way to read this. Where is it? There it is. State aid to school districts, the NJSBA believes it is detrimental to students, school programs, and taxpayers to have the state reduce projected school aid figures to school districts at after the Commission of Education notifies school districts of their state entitlements by statutory date of notification. So in other words, you know, we don't want to be told afterwards what our budgets are, so of course, I get a vote, I can vote yes on that, correct? And then the second one,
Yeah, we do.
okay.
Wait, you
I
want us
might
to
as
do
well get
both
them
at
both,
once?
because
Okay.
they're both pretty similar. My voice is so funny, I'm sorry. And this one is from the Bloomfield Board of Education in Essex. The state and federal governments have never fully funded mandated special education costs. And whereas the Bloomfield Board of Education is restricted to a 2% cap on the tax portion of the general fund budget, while the 2% cap has never been applied to all providers of special education services, resulting in an annual per student cost that has often risen in excess of $100,000. And when a student receiving special services in one district moves to another district after the October 15th application for state school aid, the money provided by the state and federal governments does not move with the student when he or she moves to another district, nor does the state provide additional funding to a district when a special needs child moves to a district after the October 15th ASA report. So they want us to, NJ, SBA believes the state should fully fund special education costs, including extraordinary aid costs and transportation costs, and limit increases. All providers can charge to the same 2% cap imposed on school districts. And that such funding follows the student when moving from one district to another. So those are the two I need you to just do a straw vote if you would support for this Saturday's meeting.
Okay, so quickly, we'll just go around and, yeah, is anybody opposed to the yes vote?
No. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you. Put that vote.
Yeah, thank you, Kim, for your time there, and have fun that Saturday. All right, I'm going to turn the meeting over to residents' forum. These are for agenda items only. There was earlier a question out there somewhere regarding the format change. And according to our bylaw 167, public participation meetings, the presiding officer may waive the rules when necessary for the protection of privacy or to maintain an orderly operation of the board meeting, which I have done. So we will try to limit public comment to 1 hour. And again, questions you have will be written down by Dr. Banks and myself. There is a pad and a paper. Last week I know we had, or I guess it was last week, we had a whole lot more than 16 people speak. So if you could please remember to put your name, your address, and your contact number. Thank you. Yes, this is agenda items only. Hi, Susie.
Can I come up here?
Sure, please.
Hi, Suzanne Keller, Tuckerton resident. I'm here speaking for myself as a community member. I have a couple questions after going over the agenda. I noted that the CUSAC DPRs were not all attached online and wondering whether they all will be. At one point, only the instruction was on there. That's number 6 on your agenda, if you're curious where I am. Will that be posted eventually?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, thank you. The other item that I had noticed was regarding the job description for your executive curriculum and instruction. I note that your job description appears that you just have noted, added 2 little items on there reflecting that the person will act as acting superintendent in the interim when the interim or other superintendent is absent. And then when I go over to the salary portion, I'm curious that the per diem rate is an average per diem rate that schools generally pay one person to sit as an acting or interim superintendent. Now, for this $540 per diem is on top of her base salary of $140,000, which averages out to $540, so she'll be receiving $1,080 per day for 10 days, which amounts to $10,000 for 2 weeks of work. Is that correct?
If it is passed.
And is that justifiable? Could I ask as a community taxpayer? I think that's a lot of money for 1 day's salary for a fill-in. Generally, school districts, as I'm aware of, pay a small percentage of an existing salary, not the full salary of that position. So I've just been very surprised as a taxpayer that we would pay that much money. Something to think about, I think. And the last thing I have is simply that I'm glad to hear that you're going to put a motion on the agenda for the main statement of the business administrator, Steve. Brandon, I think that Steve does a great job. And hopefully all the members of the board and the interim superintendent realize how valuable he is and his position to this district in all areas of school business. Not just buildings and grounds, finance, but there's many elements that position holds. So I think Steve does a great job. I'm a peer. I know many business administrators personally within the whole state of New Jersey, and I would not want another one sitting this position as a taxpayer in this town. So that's really all I have to say. So I just hope that all your votes are yay to keep him in.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, moving on. Committee reports, education and policy, Mrs. Chambers.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Ernst. The Education and Policy met as a board of the whole back on November the 6th. And the superintendent presents the following items for approval this evening, item A1 through A9.
Do I have a motion?
I will second.
Roll call vote. Can you do it, please?
Mr. Bonnicky?
Yes.
Ms. Chambers?
Yes.
Ms. Hannadel? Yes. Mr. Kubricki?
With the same reservations expressed in the October meeting, yes on everything except items 5 and 6, the CUSAC statements, that will be it, no.
Ms. McDonald?
Yes.
Ms. McVeigh?
Yes.
Mrs. Pakwakua?
Yes, with the exception of item 5 is a no, and I'm hopeful that we will put plans in place to address some of the items with regard to fiscal management and governance. And then on item 6, I will abstain. As pointed out, only the instructional program portion was included in the online. I would like to see the finance and governance as well, to make that available to you. All the others, yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes to all but number 5 and number 6, till they are completed and put the required areas in it.
Mrs. Ernst?
Yes, except I am abstaining on number 6.
It's okay. That's okay. I vote yes. And Kim, did you vote?
Yeah, yes, except, I'm gonna abstain on 5 and 6 for right now.
Did I skip anyone?
No, I think you got everybody.
So it
It looks like you have then. 6 did not pass. So items A, 1 through 5 pass, 6 is a no, and 7 through 9 pass.
Is that the count? Yes, yes. Good. Dr. Banks, can you explain to us at this point, because number 6 did not pass, what we need to do here? Is there a time limit, I guess is what I'm asking for the state?
Well, actually, there is, is it on? There's a delay before these actually come on.
Get closer.
Gotta get close.
Back here.
There we go.
Just get right in there.
Right.
Nope.
Now try.
Okay?
Yes.
Oh, okay. These reports are due by midnight tonight. They were kicked back to us. I just want to explain what happened. Last week, Dr. Stevenson and I attended a county CUSAC training where we learned that there were multiple links embedded in this CUSAC document website that included an area, a button called Data Needed for SOA, Statement of Assurance Completion. And at the meeting, it was noted that previously that data was difficult to find on the website, so they changed the display. And what they said was that the schools had already submitted their SOA, we're going to get them back, and we had submitted ours. If they were included on this list of data needed for Statement of Assurance Completion. What I want to note is that pretty much most of the districts in Ocean County got it kicked back. So upon review, Pinelands was listed on the CUSAC Fiscal Management Statement of Assurance number 6, having to do with compliance with federal report deadlines. Title 1A, 2A, 3 immigrant, Title 6 report status, with a check on this Title 6 report. And the directions tell districts that if your school's name is on any of those lists, especially with regard to Title VI, you must score a 0 in SOA Fiscal 6, and that's what has happened. That's why everybody got it kicked back, and we had to change our scoring and score ourselves a 6. Now, the Title VI is the Rural and Low Income Schools Grant, in which we received $32,313 for the 2016-17 school year. Dr. Stevenson completes the ESSA grants and completes the performance reporting and was not aware of any report that needed to be complete. And so she contacted the CUSAC state rep for the management of Title VI in the county office, and the state rep for Title VI does not know what report must be complete, and suggested contacting the CUSAC rep, exactly. So, and we have yet to hear from them. So that's where we are. Nobody's answering our questions, although they gave us the direction in kicking it back to have us score a 0.
Do you think since everybody, can you hear me? Do you think since everybody got kicked back, they might extend the deadline? Or is it something you have to worry about?
Well, I can certainly contact the county executive superintendent and let them know that number 6 did not pass, and ask where we go from there.
Thank you, Dr. Banks. Moving on to Human Resources. Tommy?
Human Resources. I'd like to present items 1 through number 17 on the recommendation of the interim superintendent. We have a motion.
Do I have a second?
Item,
Yeah.
I would ask if we could do a discussion.
Yes, there's always discussion before.
No, I'm saying we are to discussion. I would like to table item number 8 for further review and discussion with the board.
I'll second that motion.
Do we need a roll call or? How do we do it?
So you have a motion to table, you have a second, you would take a vote.
Roll
Table
call vote?
break.
Mr. Bonnicky,
Yes.
Mrs. Chambers,
Okay, sorry, folks. I just need some clarification. This vote is, tabling item 8. That's
And
it.
adding number 17.
17's already added.
Yeah, it's already out.
Okay, so the vote is just to table number 8.
Yes.
No.
Ms. Hannadel,
Yes, yes, I want, oh, come on. Yes, hello. Yes, more discussion.
Mr. Kubricki,
Yes to table.
Ms. McDonald,
Yes.
Mrs. McVeigh,
Yes.
Mrs. Paklakua,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes to table for further discussion.
and Mrs. Ernst.
No.
Motion is tabled.
We now need roll call vote for everything else under human resources.
Okay, so we'll roll call vote items in human resource, the 1 through 7, and then 9 through 17. Mr. Bonnicky,
Yes.
Mrs. Chambers,
Yes, with the exception of item 17, no.
Ms. Hannadel,
1 through 7.
It's just everything but leaving out 8.
Okay. I'm just reading. Yes, to all.
Mr. Kubricki,
Yes to all with the exception of item 4, based on New Jersey statute 6A-32-4-1. I'll abstain on item 4.
Ms. McDonald,
Yes.
Mrs. McVeigh,
Yes.
Mrs. Paklakua,
Yes, with the exception of item 17? No.
Mr. Williams,
Yes, with the exception of item 17, no.
and Mrs. Ernst.
Yes, with the exception of item 17, no. Moving on to,
And I was gonna say motion's carried.
Yeah, we say that.
moving on to operations, Mrs. McVeigh.
If you wouldn't mind asking somebody else, one of those 2 items I have to abstain from. so
Oh,
if
okay, I'm
somebody
sorry,
else-
I didn't realize
That's
that.
okay.
Madam Chair, I'll present.
Thank you, Mr. Bonnicky.
Thank you. Operations Committee met on November 6th to discuss items D1 through, or excuse me, C1 through C3. Actually, I'll break out the size of seashells. A little laughter doesn't hurt. But again, based with the interim superintendent and on the recommendation of the business administrator, I'd like to make a motion to approve items C1 through C3.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
any discussion?
Just that I'm glad to see items 2 and 3. That will happen.
All right, roll call vote, Mr. Bonnicky,
Yes.
Ms. Chambers.
Yes.
Ms. Hannadel,
Yes.
Mr. Kubricki,
Yes.
Ms. McDonald,
Yes.
Mrs. McVeigh,
Yes, except for an abstention on item number 1.
Mrs. Paklakua,
Yes, with the exception of item 1.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
and Mrs. Ernst.
Yes.
Motion's carried.
And finance, Mr. Kubricki.
Based on the recommendation of the interim superintendent, present the items D1 through 9 for approval.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Move to a vote. Mr. Bonnicky,
Yes.
Mrs. Chambers,
Yes, but I have some exceptions on the bills list that I'd like you to note. Let me know when you're ready, I'll give you the numbers.
I am ready.
Okay. The answer would be no on the following bills. Due to the information that was asked at last meeting has not been provided to me, so I don't have enough information to vote. Item number 18-00941. Item 1800348. Item 1702306. I will abstain at this point due to the information not provided.
You're just abstaining from those
Yes.
three. Ms. Hannadel,
It's a yes for everything except I'm actually abstain from the bills list, so number 4.
Mr. Kubricki,
Yes to everything except bills list number 4. The same items as Mrs. Chambers, 1.8.00941, 1.8.00348, 1.7.02306.
Ms. McDonald,
Yes to all, and I'd just like to say a thank you to Ms. Barbara Bobbin Wilkinson for your donation for the basketball uniforms.
Mrs. McVeigh,
Yes.
Mrs. Pakwakua,
Yes, with the exception on item 4, bills list, I am a no on 18-00348. There is a September and an October bill. That's the new bill. No.
Mr. Williams,
Yes on everything but item number 4. No for 18-00348.
Mrs. Ernst.
Well, I had these written down earlier, but that piece of paper is gone. So I am a yes, except on the bills list, I'm probably thinking that it's the same as others. I am abstaining from the bill for new roads, and I will get you that number. And I am also abstaining for the road for, the bill for Garrison Architects. Everything else is a yes. And I will get you the numbers. Mine knows it's in batch 62.
Map 62 on Johnson.
Yes. And on new roads.
Okay, motion carried.
I would just like to take a moment too. Is Mrs. Wilkinson still here? It's been a long evening. No, I know she was here earlier. All right, again, the board would like to thank her for her very generous donation of $5,000. So muchly appreciated. I hope she didn't leave because it's late, but we'll send a thank you card for sure. All right, moving on to Residents Forum. Residents Forum this time still will be limited to an hour. You have your time again. Please sign in and make your comments or statements This is on any item, not just agenda items. Yeah, we are writing your questions.
Forgive me, I wanted to try to beat all the discussion on the building. Not that that isn't important. And I'm pleased that Mr. Brennan will be staying with us. Just wanted to mention that. I know this, 2 months ago I stood here in September after back to school night when we found the magazine Sex Etc. on the tables here, and we were disturbed by that. I don't want to belabor this. I think enough has been probably quoted from the magazine to have given you a pretty good feel for that. Last week, I just want to start by saying there was a news story, maybe some of you heard it. There was a couple met on an airplane, and a 20-something-year-old man and a 40-something-year-old woman. And they had just met, they were sitting together, two in the seat, and then the third seat was occupied by somebody who they thought was sleeping. And this couple began to try to hook up. And they were arrested afterwards for lewd and lascivious behavior. And when I saw the story, I found myself thinking, what would Sex Etc. have to say about that? And then I realized the magazine already did comment on that, when one of the writers answered someone's question and told him that there's absolutely nothing wrong with exploring your sexuality and having fun. In other words, the hookup culture. So I think I got word or wind somehow that this might eventually be voted on, and I think that's a good idea. The initial process, we think was compromised. There was apparent bias built into the committee. And I think that's clear because everyone I spoke to in the community about this issue, 100% against it. Yeah, what's going on? Let's get that out of there. And so how does a committee that's supposed to be representative and unbiased come away with a unanimous vote to keep the magazine? It's kind of frustrating. I don't know how you can expect the public to have any confidence in that process when that's the kind of outcome. And then I think I heard that one of the solutions to the problem was to go back to ground zero or to the drawing board, start the whole thing over again and appoint another committee, which would mean the magazine would stay on the table for another 30 days. Just want to say a couple of things. The letter I received from the superintendent, I felt was insensitive. The letter was impersonal. It said two things basically, that the committee had decided unanimously to keep it. And by the way, Mr. Cardell, this material is also appropriate for 6th graders, which are 11-year-olds. And that was disturbing to me. I thought maybe it would be some sort of a polite expression of regret, maybe, but I was disturbed by that response. Recently, we happen to know one of the board members, and we really appreciate that, made a strong case for the removal of Sex Etc. from the media center here. And I think you were all present. I think the board lawyer was also present. And one of the things that was shown, I had already mentioned that the protocol was not really correctly followed. And I believe the board lawyer's recommendation was to leave the magazine in the center for another 30 days so there could be a second attempt to form the committee, etc. And I found what's ironic about that is that Ms. Haug, who's supposed to be here partly at least to protect the district from lawsuits, in my opinion, almost certainly would have invited one if you had gone that route. So I want to applaud Mrs. Pakalakuha for deciding or asking that the magazine just be removed from before the students and put somewhere out of reach. I thought that was an excellent move. And I especially want to thank Mr. Kabricki tonight. I know he gave us an immediate response that night I first presented in September, and then he followed up and took the time to carefully research the issue from several angles, not least age appropriateness, which I think is the main issue here. And then I think he made a compelling case for the removal of the magazine. And for anybody here who might be ignorant of this whole issue, this is the magazine we're talking about. This was in the media center here, I think for years, and this is what we object to. And I think if you read it, you'd understand why. So I just want to say, our 12-year-old, he's enjoying life right now. His main interest when he gets home from school is to go in the backyards and into the woods and construct this American Ninja Warrior course, and then invite his friends over to compete on the ropes and all the different things. That's what has his imagination captured right now. And I don't want him thinking about how nicely a hand fits over a small breast, which is this is the kind of thing you read in here. And I find it frankly hard to imagine what arguments could be made in favor of leaving that thing in the media center. I'm sure there are some who would argue to keep it, but I can't understand. I mean, argument would have to go something like, please, how dare you remove, this material from my 12-year-old. I really want them to be savvy about, all the different kinds of sex and how to protect themselves. That's beside the point. So I think, finally, if you decide to remove the magazine, if it does come to a vote, you just decide to take the inappropriate stuff out of here once and for all, I think not only will you probably spare the district from a lawsuit, but you will have restored our faith as a community in the process of local government. Sometimes the educational elite, the establishment, think they know better than parents about what's best for our children. And when something like this is tried to be forced into the community and parents are opposed, I think the Board of Elected Representatives can simply say, you know what, no, this time you've gone too far. And that's how it should work. We've elected you to represent us, and I really hope you'll hear the voice of the community here and do the right thing. So I want to say thank you for representing us. Just want to close with a quote from Superintendent Banks herself. Education does not take place in a vacuum. We are a community. So I just want to urge you tonight as a board to please consider what the community is saying and get rid of this magazine. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cardillo.
You're welcome.
I think it probably makes sense that I follow. My name is Thea Gleason. I am a graduate of Pinelands. I am a community member. My entire life I've lived in this town. I'm raising my family here now. I'm a teacher for the district, and I'm also a mother. My daughter will come to 7th grade next year. She'll be in this building. And I really expect that magazine to be a resource for her and for her friends. I prepared a word to say tonight. You're all in receipt of my letter. I think Dr. Banks forwarded it to you all. I make some compelling arguments. I spoke to graduates, their memories of having this magazine available to them. But if you think it would be appropriate, I would really rather turn my time over to the women who create the magazine. They're here tonight, Lucinda and Nicole, and there are 2 community members who are willing also to give their time so that they can speak and answer any questions.
That's a very nice offer, however, we're not allowed to turn time over to other individuals, but they're certainly welcome to come up and speak. When you're finished, they can certainly come up and speak. And if there's time at the end and the board allows, they will be allowed to speak again.
Or they're just here as available to answer questions for the people who think that the magazine is inappropriate.
Yeah. If they'd like to speak, Mrs. Gleason, that's fine, but we're not going to put out questions, etc. If somebody wants to speak to them afterwards, that's fine.
Okay.
Or if they'd like to make a statement to the board, they're more than welcome to.
Yes.
Okay. Well, then I'll use my time. It is my duty as a 21st century parent to urge you to consider the information in my letter carefully. We must not revert to banning valuable resources. We know that many children in our community will seek this information, whether or not we want them to. Kids have 1,000 questions and 1,001 ways to feel badly about their bodies and themselves. Let's let them feel normal about having normal questions about normal things. It's imperative that we offer this factual information to them. It's honest, it's supportive. More knowledge gives more kids more power. It's hard to imagine kids are sexual beings, but they are, we all are. And I truly believe they deserve a reputable source, like this, in their media center. Being visible and available in that location makes it easily accessible, and without a doubt, trustworthy. This magazine, Sex, Etc., needs to be readily available if we want to be realistic and fair, and I hope that we do. If you haven't had the chance to review my letter, check the information that I provided in the resources regarding the state-mandated standards for sex education and the research provided on this very topic. Thank you. Let's not be the district that bans materials.
Thank you, Mrs. Gleason.
Hi, name is Karen Cholak. I have 3 children in this district. One is a learning disabled child who does not need to see that magazine. Yes, she is a 7th grader, but she is not on the 7th grade level, who does not need to see that walking in here when this is her main resource and should be if she needs resource. So that should not be something she needs to come in here and see that. It should be something she comes to her parents or a teacher, not reading it out of a magazine when she doesn't understand that in a magazine, is my first concern. My second concern is reading Mrs. Banks, Dr. Banks' letter today contradicts what she stated in an email to me on Thursday. This is from Wednesday the 8th. Her email to me is from the 9th. This says contract, we should be back in the school now in mid-December, if I am correct, right? The email you stated to me said they will be in the end of November. As I stated, I have a learning disabled child who is failing due to these split sessions. Let alone you didn't address my 9th grader, who is an honor student, who is tired of learning off of Google Classroom, her teacher's not teaching her, and these split sessions. She should be taught. She should be able to get her learning every day in every class. You know, I have a high schooler who is loving this, and I believe if you ask most of these parents, these high schoolers are pretty much loving it, getting home at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Where my 7th grader walks in at 5 o'clock at night, has homework with a learning disability. Do you know what that is like at my house? Our life is turned upside down with a regular child, let alone a disabled child. How as a parent are we supposed to function? There's no help in this school. I sat in a meeting yesterday with no help from Mrs. Ward and her caseworker. There is no help. Oh, we'll get back to you tomorrow. Well, 4 o'clock is come and gone. It's what, almost 9 o'clock now? And I haven't heard from her caseworker.
9:30.
So what as a parent are we supposed to do? I just want answers. Your 22 answers don't help parents with learning disabled children. You didn't answer any of that. You answered everybody who has bow children. You answered everybody who has sports. What about our kids with learning disabilities? That's what I'd like to know.
Thank you, and your question has been written down. I didn't get your last name, ma'am.
Toback, T-O-B-A-C-K.
All right, thank you.
Hello, my name is Todd Nugent. I live at 43 Forest Edge, been in the community for over 10 years. I've been in the asbestos business for 30 years now, and I wanted to talk a little bit about asbestos abatement. If you go back 20-some years ago, all roofing asbestos was done by the Department of Community Affairs and was monitored through that. They got in kind of a fight with the Department of Labor. And what happened 20-some years ago is the Department of Labor says, listen, you guys have enough on your plate, we want to divvy it up. They had a struggle and they took over and they said, if you're going to do roofing projects, that we're going to take that portion from the DCA and we're going to oversee it. And the DCA said, okay, if you're going to do that. So one exception, if the building is going to be demolished, then it has to go through proper and it has to be an abatement company to do the work. So as these standards, Department of Labor took it over, they said if it could be a regular roofing company can do the removal of asbestos as long as they use certain protocols. And they laid out a guideline. You guys nailed it. When Garrison put out the RFP, it said, listen, we got asbestos, we know there's asbestos in the roofing. Here's the RFP, treat it as an asbestos in these sections as an asbestos abatement. Garrison, New Roads, Epic, to my knowledge, came together as a group. That's probably why you guys don't remember hiring them at any point. I talked to Epic, I talked to the owner of Epic, and kind of was baffled going back 2 months ago when I'm trying to get answers from everybody and was confused. I'm not as confused anymore. What had happened was the roofing company took no measures whatsoever to perform the work as an asbestos abatement. They got to the roof, there's special equipment you use. You use razor cutters, wet methods. If you know you're doing a corrugated room inside of a building and you know that the deck is open, you would certainly take some kind of engineering controls inside the building to prepare the building so that the asbestos didn't rain down in the building. Last thing that you'd ever want to happen. That's a nightmare. My biggest nightmare. In 30 years, I don't think I've ever seen it. Horrific for me. My insurance company would jump through roofs if this had happened. Well, it happened. Epic, when the portion of the roof was removed in August, Wild West. They cut the roof open, they're using gas-powered cutters, they're cutting through the layer of the stuff. And let's go back to the asbestos itself, because this is an important point. The asbestos that was found on the roof is a felt, it's an asbestos felt. So if you can picture felt like anything else, it's almost like a cloth. It's laying in there, it becomes a water membrane, it becomes a fireproofing membrane in between the layers. When you take a power saw to this, you render it airborne, which explains why there's asbestos in the playground. You'll find it on top of the cars on the other side. You're probably going to find it within a 60-yard radius of where the work was performed if you did it in the same time. You also would have found the asbestos inside the building, depending on what time you sample, because it would come down, picture layers of cut up debris in a salt shaker, if you will, vibrating down on children's heads for 3 weeks. And you're just waiting for that certain time to where that layer, that felt layer, passes down through the corrugated sample. They found asbestos in the bulk samples. They found it in room 168. It was found to be 0.23%, which is great for New Roads and Garrison and everybody else, because that's not asbestos, because it's not 1%. Asbestos-containing material is 1% or more. I take a problem with that in the fact that we had hundreds of pounds of this, and I've got pictures of it, laying all over the place. So you have 0.23, almost 1/4% of asbestos material laying on the floor in hundreds of pounds, children present the entire time that this is going on. It's absurd, the amount of asbestos that could have been inhaled by the children. This, again, going back to it, is a paper. When it sits there for what's it been, 30, 40 years now? I'm 50, I went to school here. The material dries. It becomes paper. The material we are looking for, that you're looking for in the playgrounds and the other areas, is a light brown, friable material. Friable. If I pick the paper up and I put it between my hands and I squish it, I'm going to turn it into dust. I'll turn it into smaller fibers that can be airborne dumb. That was number one problem. Epic, when they find the problem and find out that the asbestos was left underneath the roof to be salt shakered down onto the kids at some point, puts a letter out. Can I talk about the letter?
Todd, I do want you to finish, all right, but because you've gone to 5 minutes, I want to just ask if anybody else needs to speak, because I need to allow that, and certainly then you can come up, and I hate to disrupt.
Absolutely.
Somebody behind you?
You come back? Go ahead and speak it. I need a drink anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Nugent.
Good evening. My name is Lucinda Holt. I am the Director of Communications at Answer. Ms. Gleason invited me to come this evening. We publish Sex Etc. It is a magazine and website with content written by teens with the support of public health professionals, sex educators, editors. I'm also the mother of a 12-year-old. And I know as a mother and as someone who works with young people that they have questions. They are curious, and that is completely normal and appropriate. They can satisfy that curiosity with a quick Google search, and we all know exactly what they'll find. Instead of having the internet educate my child, I really want to be that person that she can come to if she has questions, and I want to know that the school is going to provide accurate information for her about her body and what's going on and growing up. It's important. I know some parents are very concerned that talking to their kids about sex, giving them information about sex, ensuring that they get sex education in school will cause their kids to engage in sex or to have sex earlier. But that's just not the case. 30 years of public health research has shown that young people who receive comprehensive sex education are actually more likely to wait to have sex. They have fewer sexual partners, and when they finally do choose to have sex, they are more likely to use condoms and other contraceptives. The latest data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention show that the average age of first sex has gone up over the past 25 years. Young people are actually waiting longer to have sex, and when they choose to have sex, they're using contraception. They're making responsible decisions, and the only way they can do this is if we continue to provide information, the information that they need and deserve. Parents are children's first sex educators. We are the people who answer their questions when they're small. Our answers to those questions about their bodies, where babies come from, or how the baby got in there in the first place, our answers to those questions, they set the tone for how our children learn about this important topic. If we talk to our children about sex without shaming them, they will know they can come to us and talk to us and ask any questions they have. When we are silent, our silence sends a loud and clear message that this is not a topic to be discussed. So then who can children turn to? Their friends on the playground, the internet? This is why high-quality sex education in schools is so important, and resources like Sex Etc. are important. As our kids get older, they have many more questions about a range of topics, and the truth is we don't always have the answers. We in New Jersey are in a great position to educate our children, so they never have to wonder about sex. New Jersey has a reputation as a leader in the field of sex education. In 1981, we were the first state to mandate sex education classes. Answer was established because of that mandate. We were established to provide teacher training and resources for sex education, so that students would be well informed and able to make healthy decisions. I urge you all to support medically accurate information for young people in your district. We have to provide information for our children. Without our intervention, many of them are misinformed, or they have unanswered questions that make us uncomfortable. But our discomfort and fear is no reason to deny our children the information they need to make healthy decisions now and well into the future.
Yeah, you're done.
Thank you, Ms. Holt.
You're welcome.
Anybody else before Mr. Goes back?
Kelly Marr. I have one question is, the September 10th letter, Banaki, McDonald, and McVeigh. When did you see this letter or been aware of the letter?
They are not required to answer.
I know they are. The other question I have is on the bylaws. How many times does one of the board members have to be absent before you can have them removed from the board. Because I believe for as many times that I've been here, McDonald here has not been to many of them.
Thank you.
And I don't honestly think that any of her yes, no's should be part of this because she hasn't been here.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mary Ellen. I'm a community member. I'm actually also a certified health education specialist, and I'd like to speak in support of the magazine remaining in the school district. It provides a reliable resource for children who don't feel comfortable seeking answers from other places. It's not up to us as a community to shame, fear, or guilt children by not providing them with balanced answers. The information provided in the magazine is reliable, medically accurate, and I don't see any opposition to it.
Thank you.
Rick Miller up, sandpaper. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Mr. Brennan was reinstated today. Whatever happened? When I tried to get information, I was told there could be no comment. And I'd like an answer tonight, please.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Anybody else? Mr. Upgar?
I have numerous questions. First and foremost, I've asked this at several meetings and have yet to get an answer. Someone needs to tell me how all the professionals that we have hired, how does that building get roofed over 18,000 square feet of debris? You have a facilities director whose job it is to oversee this. You have a construction management company that we're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to oversee that this doesn't happen. We have a roofing manufacturer representative up there, and I've come to find out that our business administrator is responsible for overseeing this also. That's 4 professional individuals or companies, and yet nobody knows or will answer how this has happened. How does this happen? We've sped past our construction date for completion, September 1st. We're now November 15th with no end in sight. A lot of hearsay, a lot of maybes. Somebody needs to be accountable for this, and I'm tired of asking. This question and answer sheet that was handed out this evening, why have none of the professionals attended any of the meetings since October 11th? Considering we're the taxpayers and we ultimately pay these bills, I believe sincerely it's a slap in the face to all the residents of the sending districts that these quote-unquote professionals are ignorant enough not to show up and give us answers for the people who ultimately pay the bills. That's ridiculous. So that will lend to question number 1. Mr. Garrison responded according to this. I really have a tough problem with the last part of that. It says, and get help with addressing the public. Considering he's not here again this evening, what did he mean by that? Is anybody willing to answer that? Get help with addressing the public for what? How about you show up and actually address the public? Question number 3. Has an outside agency been hired to investigate this entire matter? Dr. Banks has requested the board to hire an outside agency, which I would highly, highly recommend, investigate this whole charade that's been going on. Has one been hired?
Can we get
Silence?
any answers? I'm sorry.
No, we're not gonna get any
This is
answers.
ridiculous. This is really.
Were the playing fields tested? Number 6, excuse me. I asked that question. Mr. Romanoli replies, there is no airborne asbestos as per Sinotech report that is a non-friable material. You just heard from Sinotech, he tells you it's friable. So somebody's lying here, since it is heavy and unlikely to blow that far. Yet they told us it would never appear in the wood chips, and we know that that happened. Were the ducts cleaned? Number 7. Mr. Romanoli does not believe that the cleaning of the ducts is necessary, yet it's called out in your specs and contract, section 1500, 1.3.C.1. The HVA system is to be clean, white glove clean, and dust free. That hasn't taken place as of yet. Okay. Number 11. Why did the New Jersey Department of Health come out? Mr. Romanoli. We'll skip the initial part, but it says, they have confirmed their satisfaction with the situation and environment they found. Then why is the board being subject to almost $13,500 in fines? So obviously they're not too pleased. Number 14, the junior high school, why not recheck the locker room? Was this done? We collected samples on the 14th, but could not do it earlier because of activity in the gym. Activity ceases at the end of the school day. Why couldn't they come back and take it at that time? Number 18, the air quality test results by O'Hara Consultants in August identify any air quality issues, and it goes on to say that O'Hara gave a verbal to Mr. Romanoli that the building was fine. Since when do we take a verbal? We don't get written documentation anymore? This is absurd. Was the September 10th, this is number 19, September 10th memo discussed with the board? It says, and later on it says, at no time in the September 11th memo itself distributed to the board or the superintendent. So I'm assuming no member here got a copy of that September 10th letter. And I'm asking if that is correct according to what's written here. And at no time was there a discussion or recommendation regarding the stoppage of all rooftop activities while roof construction is taking place. Are you kidding me? It's in Epic's letter. Would you like me to provide copies of it? I'm sure you all have it. He clearly stated that it should cease until they could work out an answer. I'll be real quick with the last one, number 20. Why was the contractor allowed to work prior to 3 p.m. while work was in session when his contract required him to perform work after 3 p.m.? This is in direct violation of your own bid specs and your own contract. Who authorized that violation? You may as well tear that document up and throw it away, because that's what it's worth. You violated your own protocols and your own procedures. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alcott.
Hi, I'm Jeff Epstein with Citizens Newton TV. I'm going to be a little bit redundant with what he said, but I have 2 questions and then I have 2 just personal statements. First, I also am not clear on question 19. It says at no time was the September 11th, I know that it means the September 10th letter, was discussed, nor was it discussed the recommendation that construction cease. So that was not discussed. But what I'm not clear on, what I would like clarity on, does that mean that everybody on this board and the superintendent did not know about the letter, did not know about the recommendations for construction to cease until October 3rd? Is that what it means? So no one on this board, no, not the superintendent, no one knew about the letter or the recommendation until October 3rd. I think that's what it means, but I would really like to have that clarity. Question number 2. Mr. Romanoli said that cleaning the ductwork is not necessary, quote, because there is no supplied ductwork. This is question number 7 on the question and answer sheet. First, I don't understand what there is no supplied ductwork. I just don't know what that means. I think I probably speak for some that don't know what that means. I would like to understand what that means. What does no supplied ductwork mean? And on October 30th, Mr. Brennan committed that the ductwork would be entirely cleaned before students entered the school again. And that is what the contract says, as Mr. Apgar said, which is the contract, quote, 100% white glove clean before the ventilation system is turned on again. So I'm asking, do you commit, despite the answer number 7, do you commit for that ventilation ductwork to be entirely cleaned before students are allowed to enter that school? And then 2 more, which is Mr. Romanoli regarding the playground and the surrounding areas. This was asked by two parents last week, said that there is, quote, no airborne asbestos, and, quote, it is a non-friable material. But the fact that asbestos was found in the mulch in the playground obviously does not make sense. It is friable. It would not have gone to the playground unless huge solid pieces dropped in the playground. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. There was friable material, it dropped in the playground, and therefore, how can you possibly rule out that it could not have gone farther? And therefore, I compliment the superintendent for, despite saying, hearing that there's no friable material, that you are still choosing to test the surrounding fields, and I'm very glad to hear that. Okay, so my last thing is just a personal statement. The background for this is on question number 20. Mr. Romanoli said, quote, the team agreed that work could be done before 3 p.m. for certain activities, but the contract says that this is not allowed. Mr. Romanoli said in question 17, quote, HVAC systems were not required to be shut down during roofing activity. The contract says that it is required. Mr. Romanoli in question number 21 said, quote, the ventilation system by code cannot be turned off in any classroom that is occupied or landlocked, meaning no windows. So what I don't understand is, I'm just shocked. I'm actually just, those responses I am just shocked by. That this code, according to Mr. Romanoli, is sacrosanct, and you can't violate this code, and therefore the ventilation system has to be on. But the code is legally binding and has to be followed. But the contract, which is also legally binding, somehow that can be violated simply because the team agreed, quote, the team agreed. And, but none of this changes the fact that, according to the contract, if anyone is in the building, anywhere, then no construction can occur anywhere. And so all of these decisions created a situation where, at least in my opinion, it was impossible to do anything right, and that every one of these things just not only violated the contract, but put hundreds of students in a clear and present danger.
Thank you, Mr. Epstein.
Hi, good evening, Nate Kirby, Tuckerton resident, teacher at Pinelands. You guys all know me. Am I to understand just real quick the protocol right now? We're asking questions that are going to be answered later. Is that what we're doing right now? So I can just give you my questions at the end if you don't have to write them all down. So a couple of things here. At the October 2nd board meeting, Bob Crate of New Road Construction stated that the reason why vapors, construction dust, and debris was entering the high school is because the vents to the air handling units were left open during construction. He said that at that meeting. Does the board recognize that this is a true statement? It's a simple yes or no question. I'd like the answer to that, please. Did rooftop activity occur at any time at the high school between the dates of September 11th and September 29th, specifically over the D wing section? The 29th was when the few classrooms were shut down over that weekend when they were removing the re-roof to re-roof to re-roof. Did it occur, did construction occur at any time over any other section of the building during those dates? At the October 11th board meeting, Chuck Romanoli of New Road Construction stated that classrooms were closed when there was knowledge that the debris was entering into the high school. Can you please state which classrooms were closed and at what dates they were closed? Follow up to that, did the district have a protocol in place to decide which classrooms might be closed down during construction? How were decisions made to close some classrooms while others in the same immediate area were left occupied, including landlocked classrooms below roof work with open ventilation? This is an important one, not like the others aren't. On the school website, there's air quality reports posted for September 5th, an approximate 1 month gap of time until the next one that's posted from October 4th. During this time, the building was occupied by students and staff after it was recommended by EPIC that roof activities cease if the building was to be occupied. Are there any air quality reports from that period that have not been posted? If not, why was no testing done at all during that month that the building was operating at full occupation? And my last question is this. How does the board and the superintendent receive reporting of environmental testing? Is the board absolutely sure that they have received and posted all of the tests that were performed? Has the board directly contacted the various environmental companies? I believe there's been 3 that have been contracted to date. Has the board directly contacted the various environmental companies to verify that they have truly received all of the testing results? That refers to the month gap of time. I have a hard time believing there was no testing being done during the month gap when we knew we were at risk when they were working over our heads. Thank you for considering my questions. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Mr. Kirby, are you gonna give? Absolutely. Thank you very much. If no one else is coming up, I will ask Mr. Nugent if you would like to return.
Thank you for the opportunity to come back again. Last 5 people said it more eloquently than I could have. All I can tell you is we predicted this 2 months ago. I stood here in front of you and begged that something was done. I'm going to tell you what your next problems are going to be, because since I'm in the prediction department now. You unloaded asbestos into a open container dumpster. You used a VEC loader, which is almost doing it right. You had the right equipment, but you used it improperly. They backed off the 10% across the tile off the roof while our kids were present. They dumped it into a VEC loader, which is a machine that captures it in a HEPA filtration device. You then are supposed to wet it in the machine. You put a bag up underneath of it. You shoot the wet debris into the bag. You spin it. I've done millions of square feet with this machine. That's the proper use for it. It then goes into a closed container to get hauled off to a asbestos ID number 27 non-hazardous landfill. You are responsible for that asbestos. We are responsible for that. It is cradle to grave. You own that asbestos. We own the asbestos that got put into a regular dumpster dumped into it whatever remained of the asbestos waste that didn't fly out and end up in the parking lot and in the playground and any other place where this friable material was dumped into it, is ours. So this is no mystery, there's pictures of it. I know that the local health department's already on it. So your next problem is gonna be tracking down where this material went that you own and that we're gonna need to pay in some future to have taken out of a regular construction landfill and have redone. So let me just get to the point. I begged you a month ago, 2 months ago, I said, this job is being mismanaged. Oh, and another point, Cinetech has not and will never work for New Roads Construction or Garrison. We have the pleasure of working with top-notch companies, and will never work for a shoddy operation like that. So whatever that Cinetech was in that thing, I have nothing, don't know what they're talking about. I took no air testing in any fields. It must, maybe our name was on his brain and it was a mistypo. We have done nothing and have never worked for these companies. Point again.
I think that was for the district.
District?
Yeah. I'm sorry, some of this stuff gotta get answered.
Yes. Oh, it wasn't supposed to get out to me, right? Okay. Because I have no clue what he's talking about. Here's gonna be my point again, and I'm gonna look at all you square in the eye again, and I'm gonna tell you, this operation is shoddy. It's at best dangerous. It's a lie upon a cover-up, upon a lie, upon a cover-up, to where we're all here. So I'm gonna ask you again, what can you do to make sure that you get somebody in place that can oversee the construction of Pinelands Regional, needs to be done, that's not gonna endanger children and employees and yourselves? You're even working in these environments. That's my question to you. Can you please, just take my advice, do something with New Roads and Garrison and whoever else, and if this ever gets to court and you guys are sitting there and a jury looks over at you and says, what did you do at the point when you knew that there was a cover-up letter that you had a professional tell you not to reoccupy a school, and that letter came out, where were you when that letter came out? And if it was covered up and you didn't know about it, what happened when you found out about it? That is going to be the question. That's what the community is asking you right now, and that's probably what a jury is going to be asking you.
Evening, my name's Kevin Toback. I have one question. It has nothing to do with construction or anything else. Apparently, the day before Thanksgiving, we all know, everyone's probably wondering, is the day off or is the school going to be open? If we can get an answer, maybe tonight.
Yes, the calendar was passed, which has us closed.
It does. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We have about 5 minutes left in residence forum if somebody else would like.
I think Mr. Apgar is going to come back up, but I can't be quoted on that. Go for it.
Anybody else?
Oh, we do have somebody else.
Good evening. I just want to address the leader published rebuttal to Mr. and Mrs. Cardillo's letter regarding Sex Etc. magazine. I understand Ms. Holt was here tonight speaking, and I'm really sorry I had to be late and miss it, but I just wanted to publicly say that her defense started with studies shown that young people who receive a comprehensive sex education are actually more likely to wait to have sex. She didn't define the criteria for comprehensive sex education or explain what the young people were waiting for. Whether they're waiting to receive more education before they have sex, waiting before they become more mature, or waiting until they're married. That last option, by the way, is abstinence. She followed this statement with studies have shown that abstinence-only programs fail to demonstrate any effect. I didn't hear anyone advocate an abstinence-only program. According to the Sexuality Information and Education Council of the United States, a comprehensive sex education includes age-appropriate, medically accurate information on a broad set of topics related to sexuality, including human development, relationships, decision-making, abstinence, contraception, and disease prevention. They provide students with opportunities for developing skills as well as learning. So if we eliminate abstinence as a choice, have you considered the moral and social implications of teaching prevention only? No form of contraception is 100% reliable, and while contraception reduces the number of pregnancies, it does not eliminate them. According to the CDC, in 2015, a total of 229,715 babies were born to women aged 15 to 19 years, for a birth rate of 22.3 per 1,000 women in this age group. That was from a CDC report entitled Reproductive Health Teen Pregnancy. Therefore, a comprehensive sex education should include both abstinence and contraception STD prevention. So a comprehensive, or by definition, all-inclusive education should include facts and discussion about what happens if the young woman does conceive. In addition to the abortion-adoption debate, it should be discussed the importance of being mature enough to commit to raising the child together, or how choosing to abort or surrender the child for adoption is a decision that will affect you emotionally the rest of your life. They should discuss the financial cost and the decisions that would have to be made by parents regarding discipline, education, religion, and medical issues. In addition, both parents' families will want to celebrate the child's birthdays, holidays, and special milestone events. But if you choose not to remain together, the child will be forced to choose between families for those events. Those are difficult, heart-wrenching, life-altering decisions that no one seems to discuss. So I wondered if the Sex Ed Center magazine covered any of those topics, and I searched their website. I did find a few articles regarding the choice to become a teen parent, and of the 3 that I read, 2 were rather lofty stories kind of glossing over the facts. They showed the teens' parents to be fully supportive, and in both cases, the boyfriends stayed with the pregnant moms, even getting jobs to help with financial support of the baby. While both girls admitted that attending school and caring for the babies was hard, graduation and college seemed apparent, and the boys' futures were not fully addressed. For people that rely heavily on statistics, the pictures painted of teen parenthood in these accounts were far from the reality. According to DoSomething.org, 8 out of 10 teen dads don't marry the mother of their child, and parenthood is the leading reason that teen girls drop out of school. More than 50% of teen mothers never graduate. That was backed up by the CDC also, and 2 or 3 other websites that I looked at.
Ma'am, I'm gonna have to interrupt you and ask you to wrap it up, please.
Certainly. Other options discussed were adoption, abortion, and I'm sorry, was there a time limit? Because I didn't look. What was it?
3 minutes.
Okay. Thank you very much for letting me know. I did not know that. As for a trusted resource, the Teens Question Forum, I want to get to the solid point here. The Teen Forum questions were soft porn at best. And I'm sorry, that is my opinion, but if you've read it for yourself, I wanted to know how the teens that were hired to answer these questions trained, and that the professionals that are supposedly backing these teens, if they review every letter or if they're just giving them an overview. I know it's part of your curriculum, the magazine is part of the curriculum, and the course description includes emphasis will be on responsible decision making. And according to the letter, one of the questions answered in the magazine was whether hooking up was acceptable. The teen expert answered it was acceptable. This is it. The teen expert answered it was acceptable as long as both parties knew what they were getting into. And another quote was that some teens can date someone and never have sex, but for others it's okay to have, this is right from the magazine, and for others it's okay to have sex with someone and never date them. There's nothing wrong with either choice. And I don't think that's the type of responsible decision making they're teaching 11 and 12-year-olds.
Thank you.
And I will, thank you, and I will send the letter in full to the board so that you can read the rest.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else? Because our time is really up. that Dane again?
Yes.
Of course it's me again.
Dane, I'm giving you 1 minute,
So,
so make it good.
I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. Okay, real quick. Number 22 on that list. We were talking about the asbestos containing material on the roof and how it was handled. Real quick, if anybody'd like to see how that was handled, I have live video. I can show you after the meeting. My question is this: in page 213 of your contract, section 17,000 asbestos roofing abatement, letter L, under notifications, New Jersey DEP is to be notified in writing prior to any removal. That never happened because I contacted NJDEP. There was no letter of record from your roofing contractor in regards to that matter. So again, another violation of the contract.
Thank you, Dane.
ooh,
Oh, I got some good stuff that needs to go on the record.
go ahead.
Can I get 1 minute? Please?
That's it. 1
Okay,
minute.
real quick.
I'm cutting you off.
And I will turn this over to the board for their perusal.
Thank you.
Okay? New Jersey State Statutes, 18A:17-28, duties of the business manager, to supervise the construction and repair of all buildings and inspect all work done and materials and supplies furnished under the contract, subject to the approval of the board. That's a short version. I'll turn it over to you.
Absolutely.
18A:18A.
You're down to about 20 seconds.
I'm almost done. Supervision of school building repairs. Repairs of all school buildings shall be supervised by the business manager of the district. And last but not least, the facilities director, who is responsible for all repairs, all maintenance, repairs, and structural, mechanical, and physical maintenance and repair of the public school facilities. And my last question is he a certified educational facilities manager?
Certified educational
Facilities manager, as required by state statute.
Okay, thank you. Are you gonna give us that?
I will do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, residents forum is closed. Going to turn it over to board forum. Ann, or Ms. McDonald, I'm sorry.
I'd like to thank all of you for coming out. There's a lot of great questions, and I look forward to seeing the answers myself.
We're not gonna get any answers tonight?
No.
Nope, that's how it goes.
When will we?
Questions have been written down. I mean, it was a particular question regarding the operation of the school, like the school calendar, asked and answered. Again, I don't see professionals here, and I am certainly not, as a layperson sitting here, and gonna try to answer questions that are that detailed. I'm not, because I would put my foot in my mouth. There will be no more discussion. We will get your answers as quickly as possible.
Some of those questions are
But
not
what if-
about the construction, it's about you guys.
I'm done.
Because
Mr.
the
Williams.
lawyer's sitting there, that's why.
Well,
It's ridiculous.
Madam President, I would request that this is done in an expedient manner because a lot of these questions are very clear and very simple to answer. And I would like for them this time to go to all of the board members to see if they have any comments or concerns or additions to put in those answers. Because the community, the staff, our kids deserve real answers. So I request that a thorough and efficient investigation go on with all of these matters and that we address each and every question that we are given. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy.
I concur, Mr. Williams. Mr. Bonnicky.
Yes, thank you. For the record, which I tried to answer last week with regards to the letter from Epic on September 12th, I will repeat what I do know. September 11th, there was discussion on the contents of the letter and not physically viewing the letter. I think we get a little hung on the physical letter being in our hands, but on September 11th during the meeting. The contents were discussed. The follow-up letter was on the 12th, and actually seen the letter sometime later that month. I can't tell you the exact day, but the contents were discussed, and that is documented in our minutes. Also, thank you to the wonderful presentations. I'm sure we'll have wonderful words from all of us, from the building principals, coaches, athletic director for the volleyball team, and students of the month. And I'd certainly like to send thanks to the voters this week for their confidence in me, and I certainly would encourage those that share the passion that you do tonight and in the meetings past to continue to come and speak during the residents forum, and those who continue to wish to make an impact. There are elections the following year that you can certainly be proactive and certainly get your names out early enough to be part of it. And if not, like I said, keep coming to the meetings, put your input in, and I hope that the answers do get answered. Many of the answers you've been given information on, but how it's choose to be processed, I think with a lot of the speculation in the public, no one's really getting a sound picture on the process of what happened, and this investigation that will certainly take place will certainly clean up all those details. And again, thank you for your patience.
Mrs. Chambers.
First, I'd like to thank can you hear me? No. It is on.
Hello?
Okay.
There it is.
I'd like, I must have one of the ones from last week.
Yeah.
Testing? Okay.
I'd like to thank all of you for coming out tonight and your questions and the time that you took to ask them. Here you go, Jimmy. But I want to say for the record, again, as I stated last meeting on November 6th, the entire contents of that epic letter were not discussed with me at the September 11th meeting. There's a difference between the contents of the letter and the entire contents. Many of your questions tonight deal with some of those content areas that I was not told or addressed. And for the record again, I saw the letter when most of you saw it on social media, which was October 3rd, the day after our October 2nd workshop. That is the truth. It is my own statement, and I want it on the record. There is a difference between the letter content and the entire contents that was disclosed in that discussion. Thank you again for coming out, and I do want to say to the girls' team that was honored here tonight, congratulations. You have certainly made your mark at Pinelands, being the second team in history to make the short conference. That is a big accomplishment. But I also want to thank and tell the other fall teams that they had a terrific season as well. Our girls and boys soccer teams, our cross country, okay, our football, our freshman football team, they all have made great strides. So I want to congratulate them and tell them great job. And if they're looking to perform in some of the other seasonal sports, I wish you much luck. Thank you again for coming this evening, and I hope to see you back at our next meeting.
Mr. Bricky?
Thank you. First, I have a question and then a comment. I've been impressed with Mr. Nugent, questions and discussion. I'm wondering, if we have now an ad hoc committee in the building area. Is it possible to put a citizen member on that committee and ask Mr. Nugent to join that committee?
I would have to go to council to get the answer to that question. It was tough getting the ad hoc. So I don't know if we're allowed to ask a member of the community to come in and sit on those. I really don't.
There are times when you can create committees and have members of the board, members of the community, so that is something that you could certainly consider. However, if you're going to talk about anything potentially for potential litigation, which is I think where we're all clear that this is probably where this is going, anything that would be considered executive, and confidential for the board that we could not disclose, then that community member would have to step out for those conversations. So that is something that you can certainly talk about as a board as to if that's something you want to consider, and how that would work. But that is something to certainly consider.
Maybe at our next meeting, you could consider that. The second point, we got a letter addressing when the school will open. And I think this is really important because we got to move forward and we got to make sure what we do at this point minimizes any problems. And the suggestion was, before we open, to make sure that the school was flushed out. And it was a very compelling argument. So I wondered what the board members' view was on the letter we had in terms of the process of flushing out the high school before it opens, and if we have to take some formal action to make sure that that is in fact done.
I agree with you 100%, Mr. Kabricki. It needs to be done. It's required to be done. It's required to have been done. It's all in the contract that I still cannot find on the
No,
video.
neither can I.
So do we have to have some insurance that it will be done as opposed to it should be done?
I would certainly hope so, and I absolutely agree with you. I mean, we cannot put kids back in this building or our staff members without it occurring.
I would think you could ask your superintendent to make sure that that occurs.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kabricki. Mrs. Pakapua?
Yes, I would like to congratulate our students of the month, and thank our residents and our staff members for being here. I'd also like to thank Dr. Stevenson for filling in for us over that 2-week period. I know what a difficult time it was, and I thank her for stepping up to the plate and serving our district. I would also like to acknowledge something very positive that I saw on social media in our cat eye, and I just wanted to recognize that one of our staff members, I believe it was Miss Wilt, Tracy Wilt. It's actually a bone marrow donor for someone she doesn't even know. So she's out there, I think, shows the care and concern that our staff members really do have. So I just wanted to recognize that and thank her for her unselfishness there. And lastly, I look forward to addressing the issues that we have, getting some answers, and moving forward from here. And I would like to request, Dr. Banks, if the letters, questions and responses are not already on the website, can we get those on the website?
Which one?
They
It's
are.
on the website.
And then going forward, this next round, could be made available as well.
About 5 an hour before the meeting.
Ms. Annandale?
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Great. Thanks everyone for coming out. Congratulations to all the students, and thank you, Cheryl. You were really a huge help for us in the trenches those 2 weeks. I would suggest, I don't know if I can make a point of order, but I would suggest that the ad hoc committee we are usually a committee of the board, and I think that we need to get more and more answers for people, and they've been very patient, and I think that we need to sit down with our attorney, and I think it needs to be a full board now. I don't think the ad hoc committee, has maybe run its course with these contractors, and I think we need to consider it. We need to do something different, and I'm just putting it on there.
And I think, and I wouldn't disagree with you, Ms. Annandale, however, to get the contractors and a whole board together requires advertising, because we can't have more than 4. So we would actually have to advertise every one of those meetings as a special meeting and open it to the entire public, so.
My suggestion to address, I think, your issue would be that at the work session, we set aside an executive session to talk about those issues that I think I've heard you say you want to talk about. I think part of the problem is actually we've not had that opportunity to set that time aside. So maybe what we can do is, I think the ad hoc committee serves an important function. You can continue doing what you're doing. I could possibly meet with the ad hoc committee first, and then we can meet with the whole board and executive during the work session.
So we need to get our professionals to show up.
They will show up for anything.
Yeah.
On the RFP that was submitted, one of the requests that they acknowledged they would do for their payment was to attend all meetings by the class.
Yep.
What about that payment? They won't pay.
All right, thank you, Karen. Mrs. McVeigh?
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. It was nice to hear some good news with the Students of the Month and the excellent report on how our athletics are going. I can assure you that we are committed to getting to the bottom of some of these issues. We are committed to having an independent investigation done, and we will learn from this and hopefully be able to figure out a way to move forward and get things done in a proper fashion. Thank you.
I also would like to thank all of you for coming out, and I hear your frustration, I know that, and I do appreciate you being here. I too would like to thank the people that were here tonight. It was great seeing Students of the Month again. It was great having the girls volleyball team here. The last couple months have been very difficult for us also. And while everybody's, poking and making accusations and throwing names out there, we are hoping, yes, there will be an independent investigation. And we are going to get to the bottom of this. But in the meantime, while, aspersions are being cast and we're giving congratulations, I too would like to thank Dr. Stevenson because she stepped into a very difficult time and did an excellent job. But I would also like to remind all of the job that Dr. Banks has done in this last year. And while there are accusations out there, I would also like to address the fact that she has spent the first year of her internship here, or her interim superintendent job, cleaning up some of the messes that have been hanging here for a decade. And I could run through an entire list of them, but I know you've all been here long enough. In the meantime, there has also been a promise that she will continue to do so during the second year. And I will continue to support those decisions as long as I know that she is doing the best for this district, and that is what I believe she is doing. Thank you. I have a motion for adjournment, please.
Motion.
All in favor?
Are we going back in executive?
Was there something, Stephen, that you